Hey, what's up? What's going on, man?
It's good. This is Nathan, Sonic Syndicate.
How you doing today?
Pretty good. Can't complain.
Good, good. Yeah, I was watching some of your videos on Facebook and stuff, like your episode 1, 2, and stuff like that. You seem pretty sentimental about the past and what happened with Nuclear Blast and stuff like that. Now for me, I do a lot of research before interviews and stuff like that, and so
good.
and like looking at Wikipedia, it says the band is projected to be melodic death metal. Okay, right? I can understand it with Nuclear Blast. And then I listened to the upcoming album Confessions, which comes out October on Despotz Records, and it's way more melodic than melodic death metal. So
that's right.
Give me the lowdown. I listened to the whole disc today, and Start of War is the single that you're pushing and stuff like that.
Yep.
So give me a little bit of background how the change happened.
Well, I joined the band in 2009, and me and Robin, the guitar player, we kind of just formed this awesome bond, and got to playing more and more music together, and we just found out we're influenced by so many more other things that rock and roll, pop, dance, hip hop, whatever, but always like obviously all these old school kind of heavy metal bands as well, a lot of new metal. We just kind of got on as songwriters so much, and ever since then we've kind of been building and progressing and evolving, and but we've always kind of stayed in this subgenre, like you said, of this melodic death metal up until this new album.
Right.
And when we weren't with Nuclear Blast anymore, we kind of we had a whole album that we'd pre-recorded, like pre-demoed, and we were just about to go in the studio to do it. And then when we weren't with Nuclear anymore, we kind of just saw it as this chance to really explore what we can write,
Right.
We've been doing, Sonic has been a band since 2005. I've been there since 2009, and we've already done like so much music, and it's all kind of sound pretty similar, or we've just been completely associated with this Swedish melodic death metal.
Right.
And I don't know how well you know the genre, but basically, we're always going to be in the shadow of these bands like Soilwork and Dark Tranquility and In Flames and,
Right.
those kind of bands. And whilst we love that kind of music, we've done it. And
Right.
we've done it to the best of our ability, and we've had fun doing it. But, we want to do this for the rest of our lives. We want to keep playing music. And for us to do that, we had to try something fresh.
Right.
I know what's behind every corner. I know what's behind every festival, playing kind of the old stuff that we were.
Right.
And I'm always going to love it. I'm always going to listen to it, and we're always going to be a part of it, and we're always going to include elements of it. But, as we're getting on and we're kind of diversifying, I think music today is diversifying, and our fans are diversifying with the kind of music they listen to, with the digital era, and we just saw it as the best opportunity to just really explore what we could do as songwriters.
Right, right. Now with Despotz Record, how'd they latch on to you? How'd they contact you?
We're looking at a few labels, but our manager knew one of the people that started Despotz Records, and they were talking with them. He used to work for Sony and stuff like that, and we kind of knew the history of the guys from the label, and we knew that they're very dedicated and very creative with what they do with the bands that they work with.
Right.
And with us just being in Stockholm and living in Stockholm and the label being based in Stockholm, that together with what they're offering us, it just felt very like a great chance just to have a very intimate and a very hands-on relationship with a record label, while still they've got like plenty of muscle to do what they want with.
Right. Now, being in Stockholm and stuff like that, I know, me particularly, my favorite music's coming out of Sweden. It has for the last 10 years. you know.
Yeah.
And like it just like everybody's looking to Sweden for the next big thing. With your change, with the change of music.
Sweden are doing well.
Yeah, you know, like some of my favorite bands. Like I said, Crash Diet's probably my favorite band. But I mean, otherwise, you know, there's so much good coming out.
They're doing a good job, man. I mean, they've, you know, for this the metal, they've had their In Flames and stuff.
Right.
You know, like you said, the rock and roll, they've got their Backyard Babies and Crash Diet. The pop music, they got Tove Lo now. She's blowing up huge around the world. And also you got Max Martin there as a Swedish producer, and he just writes for every single person under the sun.
Right.
He's just one of the biggest producers on earth right now. And and a lot of these people are coming out of Stockholm, and we just feel like we picked up a big flavor of that with us being here.
Cool. Now, Start a War is the single that's highlighted at this time and stuff like that. Why did you decide to pick that song?
I think it's just a great song. It's it really leads the way. It's got a nice tempo, nice pace, great feeling. But the lyrics, you know, it's a definite reflection of where the band's at now.
Right.
The lyrics are all about kind of just breaking free, being yourself, trusting who you are. You know,
right.
If you've got an internal struggle, or you've got boundaries which are set before you, nobody else is going to break them down for you. It's like it's up to the individual and up to the person.
Right.
And it is kind of just with that in mind. It's like it's about the band and how we've kind of taken a leap, but also it's a reminder to everybody else. Like, if you're not happy with what you're doing, then, you know, you've got to break out, get your fist in the air, and do something about it.
Right.
Down to you.
Cool. Now, the title of the album's Confessions and stuff like that. Can you tell me a little bit about that track?
Yeah. It's kind of a heavy-ish kind of song, you know. But it's got like kind of a lot of house music elements. We're including a lot of kind of electronic kind of sounds with this record.
Right.
But lyrically, yeah, it's kind of about, you don't get second chances in life. You know, you've got to own up to things you've done wrong now, and you've got to move forward from them, which is again the vibe of the album. Right.
Let's go down track by track, and you give me your impression of each song, okay? So we'll start.
Can do.
Well, we'll go to It's a Shame.
Oh, yeah, you're getting kind of intimate right there when you're talking about lyrics and stuff. Right. I don't know how clear it is for the listener. I try to just wear my heart on my sleeve and just be honest, and that's something I tried really hard to do with this album. Just like no bullshit.
Right.
It's like it's all 100% real with the lyrics in this album, and this one's kind of plain and simple. You know, the topic is, have you ever fallen in love with the wrong person that you shouldn't? You know, you're already with somebody or whatever, and you're just falling in love, and you can't do anything about it. You know, you wish you could, but you can't. You know, whatever it be, like if they're on the other side of the world, or you know, and you just met them, or they've got a husband or whatever. You know, yeah, it's from personal experience, but there's nothing worse than that kind of heartache.
Telling me, yeah, I know. Start a War.
We've been through that. That's our rebellion. That is where we are right now. We are starting a war with this new album. We know it's gonna please a lot of people, and we're gonna gain a lot of new fans. And we're really, really calling out to those people who have this diversity in their music tastes. But we also know that you know, the people that are into their subgenres of heavy metal, it's going to clash with them a little bit. But I think a lot of the people are going to just appreciate good songwriting. Cool.
Falling.
This song is when I was feeling quite low, and you're just praying for something to change, to dig you out from the hole that you're in.
Right.
There's, you know, sometimes you get that bogged down with life, whether it be death or whatever, and you are just praying for a miracle. And sometimes they answer, sometimes they don't. And this is just about like trying to reach out for something.
Cool. I like it rough.
that's pure lust. that is all that song is. Everybody's felt it. And you're looking across the room at somebody and you just want them.
Yeah.
But the worst part about it is in just from how they're looking at you, and you can see what type of person they are. That they are just trouble for you.
Right.
They're not going to do you any favors whatsoever.
Yeah.
But they're just going to get you in trouble, but it doesn't stop you wanting them anymore.
Wow. Yeah, I know. I get lust every day,
Right? it's having the courage to say no.
Yeah, that's tough, especially when you're married. So
that's rough.
So, yes, very rough. Still believe.
This is tough, man. You're putting me on the spot right here.
Yeah, they're supposed to do that.
Yeah, exactly. Still believing. Yeah, still believe. It's about. I have a very, very important person in my life who is diagnosed with cancer.
Uh-huh.
And this is kind of a hypothetical scenario. If they weren't there,
right,
then how you'd honor their memory.
Right. Wow. Cool.
It's a cool song though. We got
okay.
This girl called Maddox. She used to be in a band called Life down here. Now she's going solo under the name Maddox.
Uh-huh.
But she's done like all the Vans Warped Tour and stuff.
Right.
She's been out with Paramore and The Used on tour. She's a very cool chick from LA actually, and we flew her out to the studio just to record this song.
Wow.
It went really well.
Cool. Crystalize?
Crystalize. That's kind of just my thoughts on just being perfectly happy with somebody.
Right.
You could spend every single moment with them, and when you do, kind of time just stands still. You're like on an ethereal plane. And you'd do anything for them.
Wow. Burn to live.
Burn to live. It's your chance to do something right. Yeah. It's nobody else is going to do it for you again. It's your life. If you want something to change, you've got to do it yourself.
True. Life is not a map.
I've always been pretty kind of a spiritual person.
Uh-huh.
I don't like to put the term religious on it, although, yeah, Christianity, it seems to have a lot of the pillars in place that I regard as like good moral standing for life in general, but I certainly wouldn't limit myself to that, and I wouldn't really pin myself with any religion particularly, like full on, but I believe that life is for living, and life is not a map. It's kind of about destiny and stuff. Stuff is going to work itself out, and life is a big ride. So certain things are going to happen, and they're completely out of your control. Certain things aren't, and you've got to kind of take the punches as they come.
Cool. Russian roulette.
Dude, you're killing me.
Yeah, thank you.
I could just say next, but that's not the type of person I am.
Okay.
Russian roulette is like just dealing with stuff that I've gone through in the past. It's like addiction,
Uh-huh.
Doing things I shouldn't be with
Right.
girls, and addiction, and just generally taking the party too far.
Right.
And it's kind of, but anything I write about, I like to have kind of a positive spin on it.
Cool.
There's a lot of people listening out there have been through the same thing, and I think no matter how bad it gets, you've got to kind of put a spin on it. You can always find a way out.
Right.
Never too late.
Cool. Closure.
Closure. Yeah, it's similar to still believing, just going into things a little bit deeper rather than just reminiscing about the good times, which Still Believe is about. But closure is more like a question to myself and the listener.
Right.
If you met your soulmate, like the person you want to, you know it in your heart. You're never going to meet anyone like them, and you're going to spend the rest of your life with them, and you've made that decision. And they they get taken away from you because of illness or whatever. If you knew that in hindsight, like if you knew that was going to happen, would you put yourself in the position where you met them and started your relationship and fell in love with them?
Right. Wow.
Because we all know how something like kind of that ravaging can destroy you as a person, not just them. So in hindsight, would you put yourself through it?
Right.
And, my answer to that is yes.
Mm-hmm.
You got to love the good times, and it builds you for who you are, but,
Mm-hmm. Halfway down the road.
Halfway down the road. You got to listen to that more. You tell me what it's about.
Okay, I'll come up with my own scenario on that one. So tell me when do you feel when you're on stage and you got the crowd in front of you, you're actually giving them enjoyment and escape from the everyday world and wind down of how this world is at this time. People who come and they're just enjoying themselves. That got to be a high.
You're talking about for the audience?
Yeah, the concert, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm all about, this time around and this where we are in our life. I'm always about positivity now and just like spreading that message, and, like 80% of what we want to do is just make people have a good time.
Right.
And live music is a huge part of that. There's nothing like it when you're at a festival or a concert and you're just loving every single minute of it. And for me, when I'm watching a great band, it's a similar sort of feeling as when I'm performing on stage. It is escapism, it is release, and yeah, that's why I'm doing music, man. That's
cool.
Exactly why.
Cool. Recently, you were just with a friend of mine, Endigo from BatAAr. You were in Japan. Can you tell me how that went?
A friend of yours?
Oh yes, he's a good friend.
Oh dear. Sorry for you.
Am I in trouble? Am I in trouble?
No, he's a really cool kid. He's been hanging out with us in the studio and stuff. Yeah, he's a good friend too.
Is he there now?
No, I mean, he might be listening though. He's kind of a bit omnipotent online and listening.
Okay.
But we were in Japan we were doing an Asia tour, and they were doing a Japan tour, and we came to Japan for a couple of dates, and we were hanging out and stuff, and then we carried on to China and did like 5 more shows there, and they did a few more shows in Japan.
Wow.
What was the question?
I just wanted to know, how'd everything go?
In Japan?
Yes.
Oh, Japan's awesome. Have you ever been to Tokyo?
No.
Oh, it's bananas.
Wow.
It is absolutely bananas. It's like if you imagine Las Vegas on acid inside a computer game, then that's a little bit like Tokyo right there.
Unbelievable. Well, I'm close to New York, too.
They say New York is the city that never sleeps, but, compared to Tokyo, New York's in bed by 12 o'clock, wrapped up with a mug of hot cocoa.
Unbelievable. Nathan Biggs, Sonic Syndicate. Man, thanks very much for the interview. It was great talking to you. Would you like to say anything to the fans out there?
I would indeed, yeah. This album, we're really kicking it hard, and we've got a great team behind us in the U.S. Thanks for them for setting up this interview with you guys, and we're going to be doing a whole lot more of it. We've got distribution throughout the U.S. on Sony Red Records, so you can pick our record up in all good CD stores after the release date, October 14th. Other than that, you can get it all online, obviously, like Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, you name it. But for anything else, make sure you go to Sonic Syndicate.net.
Cool. And how can people contact you?
Yeah, we're very hands-on with all our social media, so whatever you like. I guess a good one for just messaging and stuff is Facebook. You can send us a message and we'll reply on our inbox. That's Sonic Syndicate Official there. But, yeah.
Cool. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.